Will, would you agree that this palm tree and swimming pool is representative of how Forest fans are feeling at the minute?
The style of play is different to anyone in the Premier League at the moment, and people can't deal with it because they want to attack us because they still think we are a lower team. As soon as they attack us, we are devastating on the counter-attack.
I do hope we start to go into our away days with all our beach towels like we normally do on the last bit of the season. Just all the way through February and March in the snow.
Welcome to Forest All Over the World. Matt is in Thailand in a swimming pool at the bottom of your screen. Statsman Will has a Rubik's Cube at the top right of your screen or whatever it is left. And I'm here in Chicago. We've beaten Wolves. We've won 6 in a row for the first time since 1967, or 6 in a row on the top flight for the first time since 1967. We are joint second in the league. That means the game against Liverpool next week will be first v second technically, and Forest are on fire. Will, how are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, all things considered. Well, another impressive performance yesterday. Just this routine at the moment, isn't it? What was the last goal we conceded?
Villa. It's got to be Villa.
It was Villa. Matt, there's Matt, by the way, everyone. Matt, how are you doing? I'm not going to do a Forest All Over the World opening section because this is as Forest All Over the World.
Well, Chris, we really are. We've got Statsman Will holding the fort in the UK. You're over in America somewhere, and I'm still here in the southeast of Asia. So we're really spread out time zone wise. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. What is it? It's 8 o'clock or 8:15 here where I am. Will, it's 2 p.m. where you are?
Yeah.
Normal and it's time. A snow day. It's a snow day over in Sheffield.
Is it a snow day? Where are you, Chris? Tell the listeners where you are and me, because
I'm in Chicago, and it was snowing yesterday. I was actually in Embassy Pub in Chicago, which is a Nottingham Forest designated pub. One of the guys who helps with NFFC Chicago came down. Brian is his name. He came down to watch the game, and he's a lawyer, so he had work and stuff. But he came down. Fair play to a lovely guy. And another guy called Christian came down. 2 Forest fans, and we stood there. And I thought what was amazing was we all had such different. Like the American optimist, Brian, was like, you know what, this is it. We're going to improve throughout the rest of the season. This is who we are now. We are in a title race. Christian was like, if we hit 40 points today, we're safe. We're safe. He's from Nottingham originally, so he's obviously still got the Forest trauma. And then I was somewhere in the middle kind of going, well, no, this is it now. But I get what you're saying. You feel like more comfort now that we're just like hitting 40, but that doesn't mean anything. Like we are going for a title challenge. And I'm kind of getting into that sort of American optimism. And
so you're in. So the answer is you're in Chicago.
Well, man, cool. There's no. Yeah,
we'll get to the stories behind it all in a minute, mate. I'm trying to keep up. I'm in Thailand still, as per the last episode, which was fun. Will, I must say, it's really lovely to have you on board. It's I listened to you and Chief going the other week, and I laughed out loud, and it kept me entertained during one of my kalimas. I don't know if you know what one of those is, but effectively it's like a colonic irrigation, but not quite as intense.
I didn't really want to know.
Oh, sorry. Well, I was listening to you guys going at Chris, and it was making me laugh. And I was clearing my colon out for about 7 days.
Okay, well, there is kids listening to the show. Can I
That's
just?
All right. We're just talking about science, mate.
Okay. Well, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you a little bit about your science, Matt.
Can I just ask, if people tuning into this podcast, do they think that we're like some like high-flying, world-traveling, like the three of us rotate around different parts of the world? Just poor old Will's in Sheffield at the minute.
I'm always in Sheffield. It's incredibly boring.
Oh, you're one of the most well-travelled people I know, I think.
Well, anyway, I can assure you, Matt, no one thinks we're high flyers at all. Nobody thinks. They definitely don't think that about me.
Even with these lovely palm trees. Can you see the palm trees?
Well, they might think that about you. Can I just ask you something, Matt? Can we get back to Forest for a second while we get into this, right?
Well, the whole thing's going to be about Forest, but I'm just trying to... We're easing in, aren't we? It's quite elaborate. Okay.
Yeah. We've eased in.
I've actually had to wear my Forest hat to get my mic plugged onto something while I'm in this pool.
Right. I'm gonna just, because I don't want to have to edit this at all. So I'm gonna just go straight into. Well, I won't if you shut up. So okay. I'm gonna go straight into the fact that pre-Brentford, we did a grouping of 4 games. I mentioned this in the last episode, but it's important for everyone to know. And I asked Will and Matt what we think we're going to get from the next 4 games. Will said about 6 or 7 points. I said about 5 or 6 points. Matt, you said 12 out of 12 points. We have now got 12 out of 12 points. And not only have we got 12 out of 12 points, all 4 of those games were teams we hadn't beaten in the top flight yet. Brentford, Spurs, Everton, Wolves. We've now beaten them. We've also beaten them, and none of them scored against us. We got 4 clean sheets in a row against the teams that we weren't meant to beat. You got it right, Captain Oracle, or whatever you are now. Don't say as if you knew. You just did the optimistic throw crap at the wall stuff. So bloody annoying. Let me.
Can we just add that you did say, I did then make a deal that if we got 12 out of 12, I don't ever have to do the podcast again. And you sent me a handshake, and Will reminded me, and it's amazing. I'm actually free. I couldn't be freer.
You can log off immediately if you want to.
Yeah. That's why I'm now. It's like I've been free to come to my luxury pool in the jungle. All because Forest got 12 points.
That's absolutely insane because it's true. So, yeah, Matt, actually, I'll tell you now, I'll honor whatever you need to honor. You don't ever have to do the podcast ever again if you don't want to. I have to stand by that.
It's like the end. It's like you're Aladdin and I'm the genie at the end of Aladdin. And he goes, "Genie, you're free." And I'm like, "Yeah!"
Spin it up into the air.
Okay, Matt. Well,
I think we've got to accept here that Matt is either the luckiest person in the world or a genius. I can't tell which one it is at this stage.
I'm not a genius. I'm not a genius.
Yeah, well, 4 wins in a row. He's predicted that. I mean, that's bullish at best. And then also Murillo and Morgan Gibbs White to stay at the start of the season. No one saw that coming. Like, I just don't know where he gets his outlandish predictions and why they keep coming true. But keep doing it.
Yeah, well, Matt, here's one for you. Are we beating Liverpool next week?
Well, you and I have already discussed this on the previous episode. I want us to, so that we can genuinely be in the title race. Of course, I can't really predict whether we're going to beat them or not, but I think we can beat them. I think that we've got the confidence in the squad. I just think it all depends on the psychology from both managers and both sets of players and who goes. Who plays that game better, because Forest, you can see it both ways really easily. You can see Forest almost getting battered, like you can see Liverpool playing us at the psychology game, but we could, as in them going to the dressing room, them talking to the players, going, you know what, they're confident in the minute, they're at home, the pressure's all on them, but in reality, boys, you're better than them. Or you have Nuno and the Forest team going, you just got to keep doing what you're doing, the pressure's all on them. Do you know what I mean? It's who can edge each other on confidence. What game was it where Morgan Gibbs White famously got in the huddle and said they don't want it? I think it was against Man United last year.
Yeah, United home.
It's got to have that on it, but all that knowledge is now learnt by all sets of players and everyone involved. So suddenly, I don't know, I think we can, and we have to hope that it's us that win it. But I don't think we should be too confident, because it would be a shame for the rest of the league if Forest don't win it, I tell you that, because suddenly you have got a surprising title race on your hands, and Chelsea and Arsenal and Spurs, and who else is it? Well, Spurs aren't up there. Who else is it? Bournemouth, bloody hell, and Fulham. They're just going to be gone to dust, as we said before as well, in the dust for real. I just really want it for the whole of football, even for Liverpool's sake. Surely they need a competitor for the rest of the season. How great is it that it's us?
Yeah, it is us. That's what is great about it.
No,
is
if they beat us, I'll struggle to see it as being us, if I'm honest.
Well. The best thing about football this season is, I saw that game mid-January and to message my mate a few weeks ago, who's a Liverpool fan, and said, "Listen, imagine that game is first v second. Can you imagine that game is first v second? Because that's where this is headed. This is when we'd won like 3 in a row at the time, right?" And he said, "Yeah, it could be. You just never know. You probably could win your next 3 games, and we have. And now it is first v joint second. Arsenal are on 40, we're on 40. They have better goal difference than us. But ultimately, if Arsenal are still in the title race, and those fans believe that they are, even without Saka and Nwaneri and whatever, I think that we're definitely in it. As of now, that is where we stand. And I have to say, Matt, your predictions have given me hope and come true. And, we were arguing before this very personally. But, sometimes I do love you. When you predict things like us winning games and it comes true, I absolutely love it. Look, just Will.
I got personal
yesterday,
deliberately because you irritated me about asking for permission to film people.
Nobody wants to hear about what the argument was.
You brought it up. Sorry, let's get Will involved. It's far more interesting, please.
Yeah, Will, get a little closer to the mic if you can. You're laughing out loud there.
Sorry, I'm just crying because I've just seen that slowly approach the camera across the water like he's in like some sort of dictator in Vietnam. Actually, not too far away from where you are, but yeah. Sorry, what was your question, Chris?
No, I suppose the question is: look at what's happening with some of our players over the course of the last 6 games. Elanga suddenly sprung to life. Hudson-Odoi has been brilliant. Yesterday, he was fantastic. His ball for Ward-Prowse at the end, his assist where he just streamed past Doherty as if it was nothing, and then Wood did a little step back and tap in. Morgan Gibbs-White. Suddenly, 3 goals, 3 assists in the last 6 games. He's been unbelievably inspired. Sells unreal. And some of the interviews that have happened over the course of the last 6 weeks, every interview of Elanga or Hudson-Odoi or Gibbs-White or Sells or whatever, they're all saying the same thing. They're saying, yeah, we just take it game by game. We're not really thinking about this. It's game by game. We're just focused on the next game. And I know that that's a cliche stock phrase that a lot of people use. But, Will, it feels like this steely mentality built into the players where they're not looking too far ahead. And it feels like the coaching staff and everyone has done that. And that has really helped us stay focused. Can you speak a little bit on that?
Yeah, so I agree with you there. That is the sort of party line coming out of Forest. But with every win and every result that we get, it gets harder and harder. I'd imagine for the players as well as obviously the fans are allowed to, but it gets harder for the players not to get a bit carried away and look at the table and think, they start thinking, oh, can we do this? That's going to creep in. It has to. There'll be, like, if we do continue with this, it's almost only natural that there's going to be some nervy performances against teams that we are expected all of a sudden to beat. If we are in a title race, that's at the moment that's just a fact. But yeah, the longer it goes, the more nervy it is going to get. So I guess the longer you can kind of put off those feelings by saying, "Oh, it's one game at a time. We're just focused on the next game." The longer you can put that off, the better, obviously. But inevitably, you keep saying that, but deep down, that the pressure's going up with the potential for something special to happen.
What is that something special?
The something special is winning the title. I mean, something special for us at the start of the season was top half finish, or top 14. But now something special for us is winning the title. Something would be, well, you could say Europe as well. Champions League would be something special as well. But Europe is no longer something special. It's something that we sort of expect. And I'd be disappointed if we didn't get.
It's crazy. And then obviously, like Matt, you and me will be on here in 3-4 weeks' time doing our points predictions and pathway to whatever episode. But right now, if we were doing that today, it would be the pathway to the title, wouldn't it, Matt?
I can answer that, and I've got 2 points to make on just the stuff that Will was just saying, if that's all right, Chris. What should I do first? Do you want me to answer what you just said?
You don't need to ask me for permission. This is your podcast as well, even though technically you can leave it whenever you want now.
Oh, damn, I've shot myself in the foot with that, because now if I'm ever on, it's on my own accord.
I can't.
This is still your podcast. Just come on. Answer both points.
Will was talking about the more and more things go on. Effectively, the more and more that's inevitably going to etch into the players' heads. It's kind of a better way of articulating what I was trying to say about some of this psychology battles. I know that those things are there anyway, but it's that raised level of those things now, and how that one holds one's nerve. But what it triggered in me was that in our squad and in our team, with or without the individuals caring about Nottingham Forest and their history or the fan base and all that, you've got the Callum Hudson-Odoi, who it would be such vengeance for him to do something special with another club after leaving Chelsea. Elanga, the same. Then you've got the likes of let's take Chris Wood, who's coming to the end of his career and suddenly does something special. When I say does something special, I'm talking about winning the league, because that's what we just pulled it out of. Of course, as time goes on, if we do look like we're not going to be in a title race, what's great is it's still something special if it's Europa League, or obviously the Champions League. But we get now the opportunity to try and cling on to title race. And if we lose that, it's going to be a bit disappointing, but screw it. We're going to have to be able to achieve Champions League. That's insane. Then we lose that. We're still going to get to actually have a realistic shout of being in Europa. Do you know what I mean? This is win-win-win. Win. A bit like Forest. Well, I'm going so meta on myself here. I'm losing control of what I mean. But you know what I mean. It's just a win-win all round and infinity. Unless we get relegated, we can't get relegated now. Even maybe. Sorry to go back to answering that. But do you get my point? You understand what I'm saying in relation to what Will was saying about the psychology, what's going to edge in? I think there's personal vendettas that are very unique to our squad. I could be talking rubbish. I don't really know the players of other squads that well, but it feels quite unique. Matt Sells as well. Matt Sells has got a personal... Imagine he could turn up and become a Premier League winning goalkeeper out of everyone going, oh, we've signed it.
Aina does as well. I think Aina was at Chelsea or Fulham or whatever, and they didn't fancy him as much. And he's now, let's be honest, he is one of the best right backs in the league. There's no question. He is one of the best right backs in the Premier League. And therefore... He's one of the best right backs in the world. That's just a reality. Like, I'm not saying top 5, but top 10. Like, that on his form right now, he is. Yeah. He is.
So out of the top 10, is he one of the worst?
Okay, can you just stop with you try and make a point and you make it, and I try and make a point and you cut me down like you did personally.
I'm not trying to cut you down, mate. We're just having a laugh.
No, I know. But just on the personal vendettas thing, I just want to just quickly say that Chief Ryan, who's actually in Chicago, who I might be meeting tonight actually for a beer.
Yeah,
he was the one who mentioned this 2 weeks ago. He said that all these players, they're like these misfit players who've come from teams where they weren't necessarily wanted, but they've now gone, like you said, a level above. Elanga, Hudson-Odoi, Wood, even Gibbs White to agree. Gibbs White obviously always had potential. Wolves always knew
he's not younger,
good.
But yeah.
No, but so's Hudson-Odoi and Elanga. But okay. they
sorry, yeah, but they came from massive, potentially Premier League and Champions League winning sides. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not saying Wood hasn't got a personal vendetta.
Will's just gone downstairs, by the way, everyone. So me and you keep talking. Go on.
Yeah. Wood didn't. But Wood is at the end of his career. I'm not saying that Gibbs White doesn't have a thing to prove as well, or something personal. It'd be great for him, but it's not the same as Hudson-Odoi and Elanga, and it's not the same as Wood, and Wood isn't the same. I mean, it's just interesting for us to. I mean, we don't really have an end to this. It's just an interesting angle on this, what we can only suspect is the psychology for these guys. But yeah, it's nice to imagine, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, definitely. My thing is just how has Nuno kept everyone so focused on, going into an interview after every single game. And they do a lot of interviews. They don't just do the Sky Sports one. There's like, NBC, Opta, whatever. They do about 5 or 6, whoever is picked to do the interviews, whatever. And they all say the same thing. And they're all being hit from every angle. Morgan Gibbs White yesterday in the interview was hit by the thing going, oh, they're doing these chants, or what about this? And he goes, yeah, that's just football. Move on. Yeah, we're going to win. Yeah, that's it. Got a game. And they're trying to get into our heads because that's what interviewers have to do. They have to make it interesting. And every single time, whether it's Aina, Hudson-Odoi, Elanga, Gibbs White, every single time there's that repetition of we're just focused on the next game. And they really do seem to be honed in and focused on the next game. And I think...
Can I ask you a question, Chris?
Oh, go on.
Why are we not doing Pathway today? Your Pathway to Europe?
No, we're not. Pathway's not till...
Why are you delaying it so much? Why wouldn't we have done it by now?
Because we've done it. I'll tell you why. No, so you don't need to caveat it with any other questions on top of the one question that you wanted to ask. All right, I'll tell you why we're not doing it today. Right, the reason why we're not doing it today is because we've had the podcast for 5 or 6 years. Right, 5 years. Right, we've done 4 pathways in that time. Every single time that we've done the pathway, you would know this because you don't do the research and you don't post the episodes and you don't pay for the bloody subscription. You wouldn't know this.
But do loads of post-production, though. Do loads of post-production.
Yeah, you do loads of post-production and you complain a lot about it. But let me finish. The reason why we don't do the pathway today is because the pathway has always historically been at the end of the January transfer window, at the beginning of February, and it's always historically been then that we start to predict the outcome for the rest of the season between the 3 of us. And we have a little bit of a laugh about it and a joke with it. So that episode always is historically then. So I'm not changing the format because you're in a swimming pool with a forest hat with cats running around and palm trees and you want to have a laugh at me and do it today because you won't be available in a few weeks because you told me you're not doing the podcast anymore. We're not changing it.
No, I was just saying, yeah, they're expected to beat us. We don't have any sort of pressure on us, essentially. The pressure is on Liverpool. They're 6 points ahead.
Sure, we're only going to have like internalized pressure by ourselves for wanting it so bad. But yeah, you're right. External pressure.
By the way, Liverpool have all the pressure on them at the moment, right? Like they should win the league. Everyone's expecting them to win the league now. Everyone's saying that they've got a game in hand. They should win the league. Forest closed the gap to 6 points yesterday. If we win next week, it's 3 points and they'll have a game in hand. But also, and everyone keeps to like writing off City completely. City have just won 2 games in a row. They might go on a bit of a charge. I can guarantee you if Liverpool let them within 5, City will just switch it on. Even if they're getting a deduction or whatever they think they're getting this year or next year, maybe that's affecting them, whatever. City will just go, you know what, we'll just switch it on now just for laugh. And they will. Because Haaland will start scoring again. Pep will figure it out. They'll buy someone in January and they will mount a charge and they will finish top 4.
I should take Haaland out of my... I should finally take Haaland out of my FPL team and he'll start scoring a bit.
He started scoring again already. He scored this weekend, and I think
he got 2.
Anyway,
he stopped as soon as I put him in my side.
Well, at least you can't predict FPL like you can Forest. But look, just really quickly on this. Sorry, I just want to finish this point, and then you guys can go ahead. I think Liverpool, what you're saying there, Will, is right, because I think Liverpool will absolutely, they'll soil themselves if they bottle a few games in a row and see other teams come. And Arsenal might see an opportunity. I don't think Arsenal are going to win the league, but they're still there too. And you're right. The pressure is all on them. There's absolutely no pressure on us whatsoever because the expectations for us were bottom half the table at the start of the season, and now the expectations have risen, but we're still in that zone where we're like, yeah, well, we're just taking it as it comes and just enjoying it. And I think that feeds into the players as well. Luton this weekend, really quickly on this, because I just want to get this out of the way because they're a nothing team. Matt, you despise Luton. You were the one that listened to the Luton podcasts and got me into that.
I have them clipped. When you pick on your football Sky Sports app, the teams you follow at the top. I obviously have Forest, Notts County, and Luton Town, so I can watch them lose every week.
And I think they lost this week again, by the way.
Why
keep
I'm getting so used to Forest doing so well. Watching County trying to get promoted gives you that little sort of sadist. I can't remember what it is, but like everything's so serene for Forest. I love it, but I'm missing that old-fashioned thing I got addicted to, the sort of misery of being a Forest fan. You can recapture that by being a County. Yeah, you can recapture it by following Notts County.
But Matt, do you know what you can also do? You can also take yourself into a new expectation and say, right now, I want to make top 4. I'm disappointed. And then there's real jeopardy there. And top 4 is Champions League, which is mad. Or now, I want to try a title charge.
I'm kind of joking.
I'm kind of joking. It's just local support, isn't it? What's the Waka Waka lyrics going to be, Will, at the minute? What can the fans be Waka?
What? It's
Does
not going to
anyone-
be 30 signings anymore, is it?
No, but what could it? And it's not going to be points deduction. Who gives a F? Who gives a fudge?
Good
Well, hang on.
question.
There probably is now lads who go to a lot of away games. I know Matt and me and you've been to an away game, but there's probably away fans who have it sorted. So whoever's out
There's
there,
got
at
to
the
be
game
something funny.
Someone tell us what it is.
Someone tell them what the new Waka Waka is. That would be a great thing to hear.
It'll be like Champions League. Who gives a f*** the Reds are?
Yeah.
It might be just Liverpool who gives a fudge. The Reds are staying up.
There is definitely one because I've heard it. There's definitely one, but I don't know. I can't remember what it is. And we didn't sing anything at the Chelsea away game, did we, Matt? I don't remember. Anyway, it was just we're on the piss. With
But we weren't staying up at that point.
We weren't staying up at that point. We're staying up now, so we can sing it.
We were staying. We were beyond. We were doing better than that. At that point,
we weren't mathematically staying up, Chris. You're missing again. You're missing the point.
Well, your point is irrelevant to what we're trying to talk about. We're 6 points away from Liverpool. They're top of the league. We're joint second. We're going into a situation, Matt, where we might be on a title charge and we play them next week. We could batter Luton this weekend, put your silly little demons to bed, and then we can go on and beat Liverpool and be 3 points behind them and chase them down and hunt them down.
This is a good Forest chat. Will, who do you think
gets to play against Luton? Do you think it goes as bold as people like Bamadelli getting to start, or do you think it's going to have some whiff of the starting lineup?
I'd imagine it'll pretty much be the second string / subs. Like you'll have Miguel starting goal, you'll have Bolly, Abbott, you'll probably have Toffolo. I'm not going to name the starting 11 now, but basically. Yeah, or like Taiwo will start up front. Anyone like Jota and Sousa, there'll be a run out for the people who are on the fringes of the first team and coming off the bench just to get them like legs, confidence, that sort of thing. We're essentially our second stringer playing Luton, and I still fancy us.
Does Danilo make a return?
I don't know. I don't know how fit he is, but I'd imagine if he's. Has he been named on the bench yet or anything, or is he just
not yet? No. But
he might get 20 minutes at the end.
Yeah, I think it'll be very similar to and this is an obvious statement, but because we've no major injuries apart from sort of Danilo and Sangare since the beginning of the season, I think it'll be a very similar team to the one that played Newcastle at the beginning of the season in the League Cup, which did very well by all accounts. So I think exactly what Will's saying there, the Abbott's, Bolly, the Miguel and goals, Taiwo, Sousa, Jota, and Sousa and Jota have been great weapons this year coming off the bench. But I think, Matt, if you look at the Newcastle game, I wouldn't be surprised if it was very, very similar. I think Anderson and Moreno might have started that as well. But yeah, I think it'll be very, very similar. And we should still beat the brakes off them. Should still absolutely batter Luton Town, who are in a relegation scrap in the Championship. Oh, how the tables have turned. It's wonderful.
Do you remember when we were losing 1-0 to QPR or 2-1 to QPR? Oh, God. Miserable.
When was this? When
just
me and you were at the games?
Just constantly.
What was the game when we beat Leeds at home and then we lost to... Was it QPR?
We beat Leeds at home 2-0 and then we lost to I think it was Bristol or Rotherham or someone who were near the bottom of the table 1-0 at home on a Tuesday. And then COVID hit just after we lost 3-0 at home to Millwall. And then obviously that run was when the podcast started, the run for the playoffs, and we ended up dropping out last day to Steve Cooper's Swansea. But sorry, just to bring it back to reality where we are now, I'll throw this to you, Will. I was in the pub yesterday and my wife was sat doing work at the desk, and I just turned to her. I said, "This is crazy." And this other guy behind me, Christian, said, "This is surreal. I don't understand what's going on. You're looking at the table and you're still having to blink twice. We're 20 games in now. We are real contenders." Do you genuinely have to pinch yourself and wake up and kind of go, what's going on? Or are you more logical and you think, well, actually, statistically, we are one of the best defenses. We're giving all the possession away, but we're just one of the best teams. So that's part one of the question. Sorry, part two of the question is...
This is hard work. What's the question? I mean, I don't know. Are you following? Just simplify the question, please. Because not for mine or Will's sake, for everyone listening. I need to understand it.
Will, first question... do you
I've got that first
truly
bit. What's the second bit?
Thanks, Will. Thank you, Will. Get us back on track.
What is it? What is it, Will? What?
No. Will said he heard the first bit. He wants to hear what the second bit is before you rudely interrupted me.
No, but I'm just not. But I'm struggling to follow it. So I'm just for the point of the people listening, so we can keep up.
Right, I'm not going to waste the listeners' time. No, hang on. I'm not going to waste the listeners' time too much. But what I am going to say is the reason why the question came out like that is because I'm trying to have a conversation and I'm thinking of things on the fly. One of them was that, and then another one suddenly came up in my brain, which I've slightly forgotten now. But I'll let Will answer the first question then, Matt, and then I'll lead into the second question. I'm sorry you've been down in Thailand, swimming in a swimming pool, not giving a crap about doing the podcast. I'm sorry that you're not available to lead this right now. And if you were, you could do it, and you don't want to do it anymore. That's cool. But I have to try and move this on. All right. I'm really sorry, audio listeners and visual listeners, for
asking for clarity. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm saying what's the question?
Matt, Will, answer the first question. Do you have to paint yourself every day and think it's reality, or are you more logical, thinking, look, actually, this is a Nottingham Forest team who should be competing with the way we're playing and all the statistics and everything? Answer that first.
Well, the statistics are there, but I think, and that they would show that we deserve to be where we are. However, you look at it from a point of view, say, like wages, which is quite a good indicator of league position, and how much we've spent on transfers and where we should be. Essentially, it is definitely a pinch yourself sort of moment. We're the story of the season. Everyone's saying it. It's just a fact. Like where we should be, probably 17th, 16th, 15th, to where we are, third is an insane. What would I say? It's just a crazy sort of step up in a league that is brutal and doesn't usually afford that level of rise so quickly. You have to do your hard yards. You have to grind up like Brighton have done over the last 6-7 years, something like that. I don't know where it's like. We sort of saw it coming a bit at the start of the season, not to this level. Obviously, no one did, but we saw the pundits like just dissing us because they didn't understand. They hadn't had a proper look into Forest, but the ingredients were there. We just didn't quite believe. I think maybe just as Forest fans and the amount of crap we've got over the years, we didn't quite believe how good we could be. But the style of play is different to anyone in the Premier League at the moment, and people can't deal with it because they want to attack us because they still think we are a lower team and we're in a false position in the table. But then as soon as they attack us, we are devastating on the counter attack. And then they realise that they've lost the game and they've just played into our hands. So I don't know. To answer your question, I've rambled on a bit as well here, but like to answer your question,
don't worry, Matt didn't interrupt because I had him on mute. So that's fine. No, you're to answer the question. Yeah, you do have to pinch yourself, and what you're saying is people. I suppose this leads into my second question quite nicely. Actually, you're saying people believe that we're in sort of a faux position, and they feel like they should come out and attack us because they're still trying to play their game rather than stop ours, so to speak. I was chatting to someone yesterday, and I was saying, how do teams analyze us? Because we're what are we, 19th or 20th in the league for possession, something like that. We don't have any of the possession, so. In the video analysis booths in the other clubs, when they're building up for the game, they can analyze our shape and how they're going to try and break us down. They can go, okay, how do we break this team down when they sit in that shape, either with their back four or sometimes back five? How do we break them down? But when we're on the ball, it's very hard to analyze this because we rarely have it and we don't build with possession. We do long balls over the top like we did from Sells to Hudson-Odoi. We do quick breaks like we did from Anderson in the middle of the park straight to Gibbs White, and then we charge forward as a 4. So they can only analyze defending our attack from them in possession. So it's very difficult to analyze us. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the beautiful thing there is that how we set up and how difficult we are to break down in the sort of low mid block. It means that they have to commit players forward way up the pitch to try and break us down, and that just works for us because it's one pass out to Morgan Gibbs White, and we're away, and we've got 2 speedy wingers and Gibbs White who's unbelievable in transition. Chris Wood usually just is on the halfway line, so he's already up with the play anyway, so he doesn't need to be quick particularly. And we're getting at least 4 players forward in every counter attack, and it doesn't matter who you are. if your defenders are running back to goal and it's a fast break opportunity and you're not as fast as our players, then you're going to have a difficult time defending it. But to try and get a goal against us, people have to cut their share. Especially happens when we score first, because it plays into our hands even more, because they chase the game and then we just hit them on the counter again. It's incredibly nice to do, especially our record against the lower sides has been better than our record against the higher sides, but I feel like it's the perfect game plan against the bigger clubs anyway. So it'll be an interesting game against Liverpool, because both teams will want to play like Liverpool are basically, they play the same style, but they've got a bit more possession base about them. Like they play counter-attacking football as well, but they're going to be the ones that are going to try and make waves in the game and force the game. So I think we play your typical away performance at home against Liverpool, and they're gonna let them come onto us and then hit them on the counter. They know what's coming, but it doesn't matter if they know what's coming. It's hard to defend against.
And they knew what was coming at Anfield. Well, they probably didn't necessarily, but they that's how we played, and we hit them on the counter, and they couldn't break us down, and they will try and break us down. So they will, regardless of what happens. Liverpool will be confident enough, because they're top of the table and they are the best team in the league right now. They will be confident enough to go out and try and break us down, and that will play into our hands ultimately, which is great. That's what's going to make it a really, really interesting game.
I do think we've got a better defence than Liverpool at the moment. I think that's just, we've conceded fewer goals, so that's a fact, I guess.
They've had injury worries with, obviously, Konate's just back, but he was injured for a bit, and he looked a bit rusty. I think he was playing against United the other day. He looked rusty, and obviously Gomez is out now again, I think. So they've had a couple of injury problems. The only person that sort of hasn't got injured is Van Dijk, and obviously he's world class. But look, I'm not.
And so the defense doesn't have to do as much defending as us.
Yeah, but just to bring Matt in, like the exciting thing about next week, the Liverpool game, and obviously, Matt, we've spoken a little bit about Luton, but the Liverpool game, Matt, we're now playing first v second, and we're over halfway in the season. I'm just excited to watch it. I'm not going to be as nervous as I am in most games, because I'm going, this is a surreal place to be, isn't it, Matt? Like first v second, like we're joint second, but it's Forest and Liverpool first v second. 3 or 4 years ago, we were bottom of the championship. Like, I know I keep talking about the surreal reality of it. It must be pretty surreal for you down there in Thailand. But, like, surely, like, you grew up. I started supporting Forest in 96 when we got relegated. You grew up in the 94, 95 days, going to the games as a season ticket holder, watching Paul McGregor score against Leon. Like, surely for you, it's kind of ringing some bells of the old days, or were they long gone in your mind?
They're long gone in my mind.
Anything else? Do you want to elaborate on that?
Oh, well, you and Will were talking about some really interesting stuff just then, and you, what, do I find it surreal?
Sorry, yeah, no, just like obviously, when I started supporting Forest, the first season I supported Forest, the very first season, we got relegated. Then we had the 97-98 season with Van Hooijdonk. Then we got relegated again, and then we were gone in the wilderness. So, but you started supporting Forest, and Will's the same. Will's back, by the way. You and Will started supporting Forest when you had the Collymore era, and Forest were finished third in the league, and I think maybe 8th or 9th the season after. So you had the two really good Premier League seasons where Forest were in European football. The Forest were competing at the top end of the Premier League when it was just starting. And do these days remind you of that, or like if there was a fan who's been around since the 70s and 60s who'd seen the Brian Clough days, like your dad or whatever? Like,
not at all, because I hadn't experienced what I had as a Forest fan in those days. In fact, as a small child, it was Will, who we now have on the podcast, and another couple of my close friends in primary school singing about Stan Collymore. That was my first and earliest memory of sort of being an actual supporter. I'd even been taken to games by my dad, to those European games, and didn't really sort of mind who I was following. It wasn't until I made friends as a young child and people were talking about Forest and I got indoctrinated, I guess. So to answer your question, it just doesn't feel relevant. I've learnt to support football and Forest over another 35 years since then. And it's like I thought that they were the biggest club and team in the world. Like, I didn't think that it went beyond Man United, Nottingham Forest, Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich. The sticker book basically was my world of football. And a club called Junior Reds, which Will was in, that I was never part of because I didn't really play football. I just enjoyed Nottingham Forest. But this is very personal memories now, Chris. You're asking a strange question compared to... Will, were you here when I was asking you the other stuff? Chris, was Will here when I was asking that other
He
stuff?
wasn't. Go ahead.
Chris has been asking me about whether I find this surreal or not. Well, yeah, of course, we've been saying this for weeks. It's like, it's not surreal anymore. It's the win. It's the reality. What I thought was about what you were saying about the psychological, about the expectation of us as Forest to be better at defending than Liverpool. And I was trying to throw back to the beginning of this conversation when I said to you and both, put it out there, speculating about what might be said behind closed doors by both managers ahead of the game. And what if Slot says to the Liverpool lineup, we're going to play them at their own game. We're going to be really hard to beat. They won't know what to do. Or is that fine for us? Because we could just play out for a 0-0 draw. Is that fine? Is that how they scupper us? What if they don't come at us?
I don't think Liverpool would ever do that because, maybe it's arrogance. Maybe it's just the fact they are one of the best teams in the world. They'll want to come out and impose their game on us. There's no way that Slot goes, I'm worried about Nottingham Forest.
No, but I don't mean because he's worried. I mean because he's going, you know what, these scumbags think they're getting all the rest of the world want them to beat us. They've got an intense fan base. They've already done us on our own patch. If we let them take it again, like, do you know what I mean? What if he says he's not scared of us, but he's just like, let's just absolutely smoke them out, so to speak.
Yeah, I think someone like Arnie he's got too much pride to try and do something like that. I think he's just going to go
right
and just play his style of football and impose that on us. But I know what you mean. Like, they'd take a draw in a way because it keeps us at arm's length, and it's a pretty good result away from home. But I don't think they'd set up for a draw in any reality because I still think they think it's just Nottingham Forest.
Do you reckon we play 5 at the back at home with Morato and the 2 M's, the 3 M's?
I don't know. Maybe it's hard to say.
I love it. Every time Chris asks me something, I'm like, how am I supposed to know? I'm not an expert. And here I am just asking you what the lineup's going to be.
The great thing is I've not been able to tell like whether we play at 4 at the back or 5 at the back to start with from Nuno. Pretty much all season we've mixed it up a bit. So I don't think the other managers will know. But the nice thing about playing at 4 at the back is we can go to a 5 at the back and then we basically shut the game down and we don't concede and that's it.
Chris, do you reckon having all 3 of those boys on from the beginning at Liverpool is just not giving up?
No. I don't think either way is giving up. I think that both of those strategies have worked. We played 5 at the back against Brentford and it worked. We were going to do it at Goodison Park and then we had to switch to a 4 at the back and that still worked. Against Liverpool at Anfield, I think we started with 4 at the back. So I might be wrong. Will you just look that up for me? Sorry to throw you to task, but you just look up, or if you've your phone with you. Yeah, I just want to know. I know that we played Dominguez in a slightly higher position, and then he played a bit narrow as well and was doing a lot of defense work.
We essentially packed the midfield, didn't we? We played Anderson and Dominguez on the
and
wing.
Ward-Prowse.
Yeah. So we basically put centre midfielders in instead of wingers, and we clocked the midfield.
Yeah. So, but we played a back 4, didn't we? We did play back 4.
Yeah, we went. Yeah, 4-5-1 essentially, wasn't it?
I think he's going to do the same again. I think that. Will he pack the midfield again? Probably. I think he's going to do the same again. Obviously, McAllister, Szoboszlai, very good midfielders. Gravenberch, like these are elite midfielders. So you can't give them any time and space. Man United put it up to Liverpool the other day. Liverpool were shocking that day, but Man United actually, to be fair to them, really, really put it up to them. And the only times Liverpool got that chance was quick transition in midfield. There was moments where Gravenberch got the ball forward and then they snap, bump, bang into Gakpo or wherever. And I obviously didn't watch the whole game, but I watched extensive highlights and was told by my mates who were Liverpool and Man United fans. But I think this game for Forest, I think we play a back four. I think we do what we did at Anfield. I think we can go to a back five if we want, but I think we play a back four, and rather than sit back and let them come on to us in a back five, we smother the midfield a little bit and go after them. And you know what, Matt? To your point on what you're asking, Will, there, I don't actually think Slot is going to go, this is our chance to grind them out. We're going to get revenge. I think he's just thinking, we're the best team in the league. We've only lost one game this season. Let's keep doing what we're doing, and eventually we'll win the league. I think that's the way he's thinking. Just that elite mentality of we keep doing what we're doing. And I think Forest have won 6 in a row, and we're kind of thinking the same thing. Look, we keep doing what we're doing, but we're now playing a whole different animal of a team in Liverpool. We're going to have to be very, very focused. But I think we'll go after them, Matt. And you know what? I think
they're playing a whole animal of a defence as well, in theory. Well, in practice as well. As Will said, by his fact.
Yeah, and all our defenders are fit. Not all of theirs are. Konate came back the other day and was rusty. Gomez is out, so it's Kwanzaa or a rusty Konate. They'll probably play Konate. Van Dijk obviously is world class. Trent Alexander-Arnold's getting found out on that right-hand side every day. He was found out the other day against Man United. There's a lot going on with that, Matt, as well, with his contract stuff. Don't know if you've heard, but...
Yeah, but I've heard Simon Jordan and a load of people saying he's also a professional footballer. And you love the word narrative, Chris, and I don't want to open that can of worms right now, but that Trent Alexander-Arnold he's better than being distracted. He wants to play and win, and he's had some...
Is he though? But he's also.
If he's not professional, then no, he'll get his head turned. But if he is professional,
forget that. I just threw that, Matt. Forget that. I just threw that contract thing in there because it is there and it's hanging over people's heads. And obviously, it's not affected Van Dijk and Salah. They're playing the best they've ever played. But my point is that is still hanging around in the background. Real Madrid have still gone in for a bid in January. So this stuff is going on. And on top of that, you have fans from Liverpool's side going, oh, it's in his head. It's in his head. So they're all saying it. He can hear that. That noise, you find it hard to shut it out, right? But you can. I agree. But also, in reality...
The only way we can make that work...
Matt, in reality, Trent Alexander-Arnold is not... a good defensive player. He's very good going forward, and he's not a good. So no matter what happens, we can get at him. Is my point.
So you know what? To make that actually work, what we need. What do they call it when is it a tifo? When you have in the stands.
Yeah.
We just should get a massive Real Madrid tifo in every stand. If you want that to affect Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then I would be like, yeah, that could get in his head because that would be hard to ignore. And you should also have Murillo giving him some winks going, we'll be playing together one day, buddy.
Well, no, we're trying to get Murillo on a new contract.
If you want to know,
so I don't know if you've seen, but we're trying to get Murillo on a new
highly
contract.
paid elite Trent Alexander-Arnold are into...
I think we just got to hope that he has a crap game. Or put the
tifos out.
He has a crap defensive game 50 to 60% of the time. He has a crap defensive game. I spoke to Liverpool mates about this. They think defensively he's very, very fragile. So they might even play Bradley. I'm not joking with that. They might.
We should get in touch with Forza Garibaldi and suggest that to them. That would be hilarious.
Well, Greg sometimes listens to this podcast, and Laura, his wife, definitely does. So shout out to her. So she'll pass it on.
Well,
I was going to say it'd be pretty unprecedented to do a tifo about an opposition player.
Yeah, but and Real Madrid badges, just so outrageous.
You could think up some sort of like play on the word Trent and the River Trent and there's someone more intelligent than me can come up with something that could allude to it.
Nothing will ever beat two clowns throwing custard pies at each other. That was just wonderful, mate.
Right,
that is Spurs and United at the moment.
That could be on a t-shirt, just Two clowns wearing either shirt throwing.
The reference is that Spurs played Man United in the Cup, and Will mentioned that it was like two clowns throwing custard pies at each other in the game. That's just for everyone who didn't listen to that episode. I know you hate when I do that, Matt, but I have. Look, can we?
No. That's good. That felt like actual podcasting. I was like pleased that you did that. That's good.
Well, thanks, Matt. Thanks for the personal jibes, and we're going to do two things before we go. One of them is going to be score predictions right now.
Sorry about all these mopeds you can hear all of a sudden.
It's fine, Matt. It's fine. We're going to do
it's part of the atmos.
Yeah, it's part of the atmosphere. And for audio listeners who don't know, Matt's in a swimming pool in Thailand right now, swimming closer.
Can you see
and
me
further
when I'm
away.
this far away?
Just
No, but we can see you when you get. We can sort of see you, but we see you when you get closer and closer to the thing, like a freak.
Okay, keep going. Right. Sorry, mate.
So yeah, no, you're not sorry. We're playing Luton. It's just ridiculous. We're going to do score predictions for Luton and Liverpool, and then we're going to do a review corner, and then we're going to get the hell out of here. All right. And yes, Matt,
can we finish it with Matt doing a length underwater as well?
Yeah, Matt, do a length underwater while I do score predictions with Will. Do a length underwater, or you can't. He's got his hat.
I can take him. I can take my electric.
Don't take your hat off. Do that at the end. Do that at the end. Do it at the end.
I might be able to hear you guys.
Yeah, just leave it for now. Score predictions. Will start with you with Luton. We're going to do Luton all round, then we're going to do Liverpool all round. Okay, so we'll start with Luton. Will, Luton, what's the score prediction going to be?
3-1. 3-1 win. Comfortable.
Okay, perfect. And Matt, what's the score prediction going to be for the Luton game?
2-0 Forest. And I think the fans will be disappointed. I think it will be like high expectation, and we'll scrape a sort of scrappy 2-0.
Okay, I think we're going to beat them 4-0. We're going to beat them 4-0, and then we're going to take our foot off the gas the last 5 minutes. I think we're going to absolutely annihilate them. And then clip this up if they want. We're joint second of the table, and you're way down the bottom of the championship table. You're absolutely pathetic. You're nothing. You don't mean anything to us anymore. Let's move on. Will, Liverpool, what are we going to do?
Yeah, I mean, we won 6 in a row, so why not make it 7 in a row? I'm going to go 1-0. Just do them. I reckon, like when we beat them in our season back in the Prem with slightly less jeopardy. I think we'll score a goal. Maybe at the end of the first half, maybe at the start of the second half. It seems to be when we always score at the start of the second half. And then we'll just bring Morata on if he's not on already and just lock it up and then just see it out because that's what we do now. So I'm going to go 1-0.
Love that. Matt, your score prediction for the Liverpool game? Matt?
I don't predict we can do better than 1-0. Oh, so I'm going with 1-0 as well. I mean, it's a heart of... Yeah.
But you believe we can win it, and you said that in the last podcast, and you're sticking with it, and I respect you for sticking with this podcast.
I think we win it 1-0. I think we win it 1-0.
If you can't believe we win when we won 6 in a row, then when can you believe it?
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm going 2-0.
Just for that.
You can still say 1-0.
Nah, I'm going 2-0. I'm not even... I think Liverpool score. I'm going 2-1. And I think we come from behind.
Oh, okay. So, who do you think scores the goals, Matt? I'll give that to you. Who do you think scores the goals?
Well, I think we concede to someone like...
I don't care who their scorers are. I don't care. Who do you think we score?
Okay. So like Gakpo will get a goal early on, and then we get a Milankovic goal. No, it's Murillo. It's a Murillo and an Dominguez. Dominguez Murillo. Just plucking names out my arse.
Yeah. Will, who do you think scores for us really quick?
Well, it's got to be Chris Wood, isn't it? Chris Wood 1-0.
Love that.
Simples.
I think we beat Liverpool 2-1. That was always what I thought, and that's where I'm sticking with that. I think we beat them 2-1. I think that I think Matt might be right. We might come from behind, but I think we're definitely at 1-1, and it's the latter stages of the game, and I think Taiwo nets the winner against his.
I'd love it. I'd love it so much.
I love it if we beat them. They've got to go to the City Ground and they've got to get something. They've got to get something like the Kevin Keegan old days. They've got to come to us and get something.
I'll never forget when I was at a Luton game. I think I told you this. I was with Will at a Luton game where Breeze Samba saved a penalty. I think we drew 0-0 or 1-1 or something. And I told my mate John, who'd been to Forest through the 60s, 70s and 80s and all that, old bloke, and he was like telling me, he goes, "Oh, back in my day, I was we went with the Forest fans down to Luton away, and yeah, we got in a fight, Matt. We got chased. Me and 3 mates had to leg it for this big crowd of Luton hooligans, absolutely running away. Luckily, we found this pub, got inside and shut the doors. Turned around, pub was full of Luton fans."
That's pretty good. That's proper Green Street football factory stuff.
Yeah.
Big shout out to John, who was the one who started taking you to all the games when you were younger as well. Absolute legend. Right.
Yeah.
With that, we'll roll out the music because we're nearly on an hour here, which is absolutely ridiculous. And we're going for welcome to the review corner.
You lost the sound key for that.
Yeah, the sound cue will be in. We got Adam Wicklow, who wrote 2 things about you on the swing in Thailand last week. Matt doing the pod from a swing is possibly one of the most Forest moments of the year. It's like a fever dream. I swear I imagined this in a dream. Matt is like Tom Hanks in Castaway. That's Adam Wicklow.
I wonder what he'll come up with this week. Am I going to be like, what's the girl that turns into a mermaid in Flip or Flipper or whatever it's called? That other Tom Hanks film.
Splash. It's called Splash.
That's it.
You might be. We've got Richard Spray who says, "I don't know the man from Adam." This is Richard from Talking Reds podcast. But my sense is that moment where he's on a swing is like a microcosm of his personality, and it's true. You're just down there dreaming. So big shout out to Richard there. And do you want to give him a shout out, Matt? You love Richard.
Richard.
Yeah,
Richard,
he was on our podcast as well.
Yeah, I know. Very good. Another great education when he came on Forest All Over, showing us how to do it. Talking Reds, listen to it all the time. I've got all this stuff while I'm away. I sit and do I find moments to get online and listen to Forest content all the time.
Right. Next one is James.
I mean, you've already done the shout out, Chris. This is where you always make me look like
no, but why are you cutting me off? I'm about to move on to the next guy. Just stop talking. James, who wrote on our YouTube last time, he said surreal content, beautiful, thank you. So, to be fair, Matt, you had a beautiful sight down there on the beach, on the swing, below some sort of palm tree.
Well, you got to do it if you're here. You got to do it. We're always used to get our guests from around the world to do it, and it is a technological faff. You have to sort of arse about for a few extra minutes working out how you're going to do it, I guess. But I thought I'd just do it because I've got the opportunity to at the minute, haven't I?
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining from Thailand, Matt. Will, thanks for joining from snowy Sheffield at the moment. And I'm over here in Chicago.
Has that been flickering throughout the whole episode?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know, Matt. I'm trying to end the podcast.
Right.
I'm trying to end it's an hour in. I'm in Chicago. I'm going to be out doing things. Follow us at Forest All Over on Instagram or at NFFC All Over on X. Maybe we'll be on TikTok or Blue Sky or one of them soon. Maybe not. Go to YouTube at Forest All Over. Like and subscribe if you got this far. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you have. Will, thanks for joining us. Matt, thanks for joining us in Thailand. I'm out in Chicago.
Do the underwater length.
Do the underwater length. Do the underwater
length to sign off, Chris. I'm not gonna hear you both again because I'm gonna take all this off.
That's fine, but do get out of the thing and tell me what you're gonna do afterwards, okay? So go.
I'll say goodbye, everyone. I'll see you after Liverpool, probably. And Will, thanks for coming on. It's always a great pleasure to speak to you, mate.
No worries. Always good, mate. Take care, pal.
Do the underwater length. Do it. And come back to me then
my mic and shit from the water.
Oh, he's doing the underwater length? No, he's risen to the top already.
I feel like it looks like it's further away than it actually is.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yeah, he's made it. He's coming back now. He's doing one on the way back as well.
I didn't realise it's such a small pool.
Yeah, we thought we were challenging him to something proper. Right, we'll end it there. Thanks, Will. He's raising his fists. Jesus. This is a mad podcast.